What is knowledge? What is knowledge? Key question, right? Is it possible to define knowledge? And if so, what is the definition of knowledge? And what is not the definition of knowledge? Then who decides? We're going to have to decide whether it is a right or wrong definition, or how to reason to get to deciding. And even if presented with the definition of knowledge, will I be able to know? What can I know? What can I know? At least those questions cross our minds or my mind. We seem to aspire, when asking those questions, we seem to aspire to some sort of unifying thoughts. We seem to aspire to something that will unify all those questions and get a single answer. Unifying thoughts. Some sort of principles that will guide. Some sort of principle that will guide and converge everyone to the ultimate truth or the ultimate knowledge. Some may call that common sense. If you happen to discover the principle of knowledge, wouldn't that provide us with means to unlock the mystery of the universe? So let's just come back a little bit. What is knowledge? What is knowledge and what is not knowledge? Is there such a thing called knowledge? It doesn't matter to be right and wrong. And what can I know? So we seem all to aspire to some sort of unifying thoughts. We seem to aspire to some sort of truth. But I was just mentioning that even if presented with knowledge, will I even know that it is knowledge? It seems like I may not be able to know that it is knowledge. But if that is very hard, can I find out what is the principle, at least the principle to knowledge? Because if I know the principle to knowledge, I may also know the principle to unlock all other questioning or mysteries of the universe. Let's just take an example here. In life, most of us sometimes ask the question, what is the purpose of life? Let's say if you already know the purpose of life, why not achieving it and call it a day? And if you achieve it, would there be any meaning to life anymore? Will there be any meaning to life anymore? If you are looking, let me just break that down. Most people are, okay, I want to know the purpose of life. If they tell you the purpose of life is to eat the banana, it's very simple, right? Find a banana, eat, and call it a day. If you find a banana you eat, life will have no, logically speaking, life will have no other purpose anymore. There will be no meaning to life because you would have achieved the purpose of life. And we're going to mention later that there is no knowledge for the purpose of life with living, and there is no living with knowledge for the purpose of life. You cannot live knowing the purpose of life. And if you know the purpose of life, you cannot live. Because there will be no point at all. Logically speaking, it will not stand. So it seems like human beings woke up giving these questions we are asking ourselves. Why are we here? Where are we coming from? Our great-great-grandparents, where are they coming from? And where are we going? So when I ask those questions, it seems like there's something I'm missing. There's something that I seem to have lost. There's something I'm finding every day. I don't know where it is. So it seems like human beings woke up from their sleeps trying to remember or to be reminiscent about their past, their selves, and the truth about them. If you ask me, I would say human beings seems to be lost souls in the cosmos. Human beings are lost souls in the cosmos. The situation is comparable to, let's say, some soldiers being sent for a mission somewhere. Then suddenly they wake up in the middle of nowhere. Wake up in the middle of nowhere. They don't remember where they're coming from, where they were going, and why they are in the middle of nowhere. Some of them will be asking those questions every day, probably not having the answer. And the other will say, okay, look, as we are here, let's just say we are in the middle of nowhere. Let's just enjoy what is around us. Let's just let ourselves be distracted, or let's just distract ourselves with everything around us. So human beings are lost souls in the cosmos. That's what I believe. That's what I came to be in agreement. Human beings seem to be lost souls in the cosmos. Yes, they are lost. They are souls, not bodies, souls in the cosmos. So the question we ask, the principle we expect to find are embodied in logic and the language we use. When I ask a question, what am I using? When I ask a question, I'm using words, symbols, languages, and I'm organizing them in a certain way to convey a certain idea. That is what is called logic. So our language is a culture inherited. Our language is a culture inherited, which has historical meaning to words we use. Maybe, okay, if we talk about pineapple, where is that word pineapple coming from? Maybe one of our great one of our ancestors went into the field, he went there, then he saw some kind of fruit and he called it pineapple, and that was the idea of that fruit being called pineapple was conveyed to us from generation to generation. But what if they meant something else? But the point here is that we need to understand our cultural heritage in order to fully master the language and the significance of any word we're using. So that is very critical. And also paying attention to logic, because logic, we use the words of the language and connect them together in order to have logic. So logic, language, and culture will help us in depicting what knowledge is. Knowledge is what is. Knowledge is being. Knowledge is being. You remember what Shakespeare mentioned, to be or not to be, that's the question. So knowledge is what is. Knowledge is what is being. Knowledge is being. So being logical or consistent is more important than telling the truth. Because the truth seems to be far, very far from us. So what we can try to do where we are is to try to be logical and consistent. It is very hard to get to knowledge and to the ultimate truth. But it seems easier to be consistent and be logical.